Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I have a quick review on the Faber Castell Black Edition colored pencils. I purchased a set of 36 on Amazon about a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. I had to order something for my girls for back to school, and I'm a sucker for that free shipping, so I threw this into my cart. It was around 20 bucks. It was like either like $19.99 or $20.99. It was right around $20, and I've seen it kind of fluctuate between, you know, $20 to $23 since I first spotted these. And I've had these in my cart, probably my kind of save for later cart, for probably a year or more, and they've just kind of intrigued me because they are designed to work on black paper, and because I like to use colored pencils a lot, especially soft colored pencils for doing highlights and shadows and accents on my alcohol marker work and my watercolors. I thought this might be a really nice product for the way I like to work. So I decided I would grab it and do a review for you, so so at least to get a couple good uses out of this product. So I kind of played with them. I played with them a bit. I started off by just kind of swatching them out, so you can see the color range here on both black and white. I'll bring it up a bit for you. As you can see, they are opaque on black. This is just Arteza sketch paper. It's got a little bit of a tooth to it, and this is Stonehenge drawing paper or printmaking paper, whatever you want to call it, just, you know, your regular Stonehenge. And I was pretty satisfied with the colors. There are no real, like, there's a few lighter colors, but this is not a pastel tone set. So if you were looking like for something like the Holbein pastels, this is definitely more of a vibrant range, but they're still opaque, and it is kind of hard to find those vibrant colors that are a little more opaque. So I started off just by doing a drawing of a magnolia. I really wanted to see how that white was going to compare, because swatching it, I gotta say, so I swatched those three colors first, and I was like, oh no, because I did kind of thought the opacity wasn't really there. There wasn't that much color in. Liked it a lot better on the white. But then once I started to get through these brighter colors and get into the teals and the blues, I was much more happy with what I was getting there. So I sketched this little magnolia flower here. I have to say, by the time I was done drawing this, my hands were tired. I wouldn't say they hurt, but my hands were definitely tired, because you do need to kind of put a lot of pencil down if you want to build up that opacity on the black paper. Like this only took a couple minutes, wasn't nearly as difficult on the white paper, but obviously if you're buying these, you're probably going to buy them for black paper. Now these are marketed to teenagers, so they're not marketed to professional artists, they're not marketed to adult colorists, they're marketed to trendy teens, as it says on their website. Because I was curious, I went to the website to see like exactly what they were saying about this product, because I didn't have any I didn't have much information about this. I think I might have seen it in a couple of people's videos where they were like, you know, just trying out pencils. But I know I did, because when I was searching for information about this, I did see that Harry at the Art Gear Guide posted a review on this 2 years ago. So I'm definitely going to watch his review after if I haven't seen it already. So you could definitely check out that too, because he's really thorough. But when I was searching for information about this after I'd kind of formed my own opinions, I saw a set of 50 advertised on Etsy and on Amazon UK. So I also think that this is probably marketed to the European market. So these are made in Brazil, and they have the carbon neutral claim on them. They have wood from certified sustainable forests, and when I ordered them on Amazon, they had the climate friendly pledge stamp on the listing. So I felt pretty good about trying them, because we're all trying to be a little more sustainable. So when I received it, my package was torn. Didn't really bother me. I certainly wasn't going to send it back for a replacement and then add some more carbon footprint to this purchase, especially since I want to buy something that's sustainable. So, and I don't think I'm going to keep it in this packaging. I don't really like the packaging, but it kept the pencils safe, and that's the important thing. I didn't sharpen them all, but I did sharpen some of them, and I didn't have any breakage. Every pencil was nice and strong. They felt a little firmer than a Prismacolor, but they're still a pretty soft lead. But pretty much anything next to a Prismacolor feels a little bit firmer. Let's take a look here. So you have a triangular barrel. So I actually think this would be nice for younger kids because they're not going to roll off the table, fall on the floor and break. And you do have to worry about that when you're working with a really soft pencil. You drop those Prismacolors on the floor, you're going to snap the leads inside the pencils. Even like the Derwent Chroma Flow and the Derwent Color Soft, you also have to be careful with those pencils. They're round barrels, so, but they're also not marketed to children. But I like that they had the thought to put this in a rectangle, a triangular barrel to prevent the rolling off. You've got Faber Castell printed in silver, and then there's just a little blind imprint here. It says Brazil down here, the country of origin, and then there's just a set of like an alphanumerical code, which would just tell you basically what batch number they're in case you do have problems with your pencil. That's the information you would give the seller. I don't know if they glue the core all the way down the pencil or not, but I didn't have any breakage like I mentioned before, and they sharpened in my standard sharpener that I had upstairs on my desk. I did these samples sitting outside on the deck because it was so nice out today, and I just brought my little rechargeable sharpener outside and it worked great. When I'm using a soft pencil, I prefer to use an electric sharpener because I find I get less breakage, but I didn't get any with this. So I did some, after doing the drawing here, I am noticing you can see the pencil strokes pretty well, especially in real life. I'm going to see, maybe you can see it if I bring it up to the camera. There's also a fair amount of glare because of the wax in the binder. Now it doesn't say oil-based, wax-based, any of that information, but just handling them and the fact that they're opaque, I would say they're primarily wax-based, and you can definitely see those pencil strokes. And I reckon we're going to have some bloom on this because I can already see some of the, when you can see the strokes there, that's kind of the wax. And I think we'll probably get some wax bloom eventually, but you can buff that off with a tissue. That said, I didn't have any like smearing issues with these, which was nice because as I was doing all these little, like I was trying to conserve paper, being sustainable, and a sustainable thing would be me not buying any more pencils. That would be the truly sustainable thing for Lindsay to do, but no, oh no, can't do that. Actually, by the time you're watching this, I'll be in a no-spend September, so so luckily I have plenty of things to keep me busy. But yeah, what you can do if you do get some bloom, just take a tissue, just a regular, either a soft piece of cotton cloth or a tissue, and you can, let's see if there's one that has a lot of bloom. You just buff it out. Now, this can make it kind of shiny, so just kind of keep in mind, and you will pick some up on the tissue, but then that takes away any sort of haziness. I'm wondering if it might make things more transparent though if you're doing that on black paper, so you might want to test that on a scrap. Look, it does make it like really really kind of shiny. But these are burnished. These are colored pretty firmly so I could get the opacity that I wanted. But yeah, that's just how, but you definitely take out some of the brush strokiness when you do that. So so that's kind of nice. Actually, let's try it up here and see if we can get kind of the, yeah, that, you know, it does unify the texture a lot when you buff it out with a tissue. So that's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. It does make it shiny, but that's a nice easy fix for that. I did some blending tests so I could go from light to dark and see how they did. You know what? I'm just going to buff these too, just so that that's not interfering. And I found they blended pretty well. So if you were like a rubber stamper and you wanted to, maybe in lieu of markers, you want to use colored pencils and you want something you can use on all your different colors of cardstocks that you have, this would be really good for that. It is opaque enough to cover up your stamp lines, so if you don't like that, you just want to be careful not to color over your stamp lines if that was an issue. But the one thing I was pretty impressed with, I mean, these were shipped in a bubble wrapper and they're in just this thin cardboard packaging, and there was no breakage, not even any broken off tips in the package. So that bodes really well, I think, for giving these to your children to throw in their backpack to take to school, because they are going to give you way more color payout than Crayola or other, like, you know, Rose Art, Crazy Art, you know, the other kid brands. So I think that would be really nice for them. And if they are doing projects on construction paper, which I think this is really more designed for, then they can get that color payoff and not have to be using crayons. So I think that would be nice. Now I'll show you how, let me find one I haven't used a lot. Like, oh, let's do this brown. I haven't used that very much. So you can kind of see how they come sharpened. They come almost like maybe, well, it's going to be a machine that does that. I can't imagine somebody sitting in the factory whittling that. But they come kind of like lopped, like whoosh, 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 like just kind of sharpened at a triangle. But I use these in my standard sharpener that I have upstairs on my desk. Now the standard sharpener that I have, they are it's too little for me to put my like color soft pencils in. So I just have it up there where I have my Prismacolors and some Brute Funers that are like the pastel tones. And this sharpened fine. So any of your standard sharpeners should do well with this. You don't need anything special. And yeah, so the one downside I would say is that there's no color names on these. I don't know with the 50 set if they're going to assign color names or color numbers or something to them, but there's no color name or number. So if you swatch them, I swatched them out just so I could show you what you have for colors here. But you know, look at the leads and you know, do your best to pick the color. I think the black wood makes it so it's easier to see the colors that you have there. Let me just fold that back. This does have I think this is meant to like fold back so that you can like kind of set it on your table like that and have it like elevated. But I think the black wood does make it a little easier to see what colors you have there. So that's a good thing. And it does seem that the colors on the end are relatively well, relatively accurate to the swatch on white, but not necessarily on the swatch on black. So just something to keep in mind. Let me show you one that I've just recently sharpened. They sharpened to a nice point. I had the only breakage I had actually is if I had this sharp to a needle point, which is what my electric sharpener upstairs does. It's one of those ones that sucks it in, it sharpens it, and then it pops it back out at you. So I don't really have a lot of control over it's supposed to be that you can make it blunter or sharper, but that dial doesn't seem to do a thing on that sharpener. So when that is razor sharp and I give pressure, it snaps. So you do have to be careful sharpening it too much of a point, but they sharpen beautifully. And I like the matte paint on it. I mean, that's not hard to read, but you don't really need to read it because all it says is Faber Castell. It doesn't give you any information. But yeah, they're nice and smooth. Now I'm going to swatch these out next to a couple comparable pencils, or at least, let's see, I'll try to find this color. This is a pretty, since it's 36 colors, I should be able to find a very similar color in most of these ranges. That's not teal enough. Let me come back to Prismacolor. Let's get a color soft. This one looks pretty similar there. Is that? That's a little bit warmer. Oh, let's try this one. Let's try them on the white too. Let's see. They're not exactly the same shade. So they feel very similar to the Color Soft. The Color Soft has a little more pigment, it seems, but they're not identical matches, so that's hard to say. Let's go to the Chroma Flow and see what we have there for a similar green. I think this one would be probably pretty similar. Ooh, feels pretty similar too. I think the Faber Castell feels a little bit drier. And then let me just grab a Prismacolor here. It's so funny how like the colors will differ from set to set. Well, we'll just take this one. It's not, no, that's Holbein. All right, I'm just gonna grab this. That's also Holbein. Oh my gosh. Well, I'll move back to the first one that I had just so I can feel. They feel quite similar to the Prismacolors. Just a little bit, maybe just a touch firmer, not much, but very similar. I would say they're very close to your Color Soft, your Chroma Flow, or your Prismacolor as far as softness and opacity. But actually, they might be a little bit more opaque because the pigments have been chosen to be specifically opaque. So if that's something you're looking for. So I did a few examples. I told you about the blending, just kind of taking a few colors and like working them in together for blends. Worked really well for that. I did a little blending ball. That's the example on black. That's the one on white. And I did notice that I felt like I had to work kind of hard to fill in the color, especially on black, to get it so it wasn't streaky. But what I really loved was I took just a bright red marker, and I drew a circle, colored it in, and then I went over it with, and that was a piece of cake. So I think that using these over marker and over watercolor is going to be the best use for them for, well, for me anyway, maybe for you, I don't know. I also think these would be great for kids because I don't think you're going to have the breakage issues because these aren't going to roll off the table and break on the floor. Or if you're a trendy teen, I should see if my trendy teens want anything to do with this. But yeah, I'm happy with it. If I knew there was a 50 set coming out, honestly, I would have waited and just got that. But the 50 set has like a these little pieces here. I don't know if they're still paper or what, but they fold together into a rectangle or a square, and they make a little stand. And they have the little Faber Castell artwork, like this little thing here on there, and it does look kind of neat. So so that's kind of cool if you can get your hands on a 50 set. I didn't see any of the sets at Blick. They had 24 and 36 on Amazon USA, but you can order the 50 set. It just ships from UK, but I don't think they're charging any extra for shipping. But apparently there's a 12 set too. On the Faber Castell website, they only say 12, 24, and 36. So I think the 50 set must have just come out because I wasn't aware of it, and I usually have my finger on the pulse of new pencil sets I don't need. So I wanted to show you, because I think the ChromaFlow pencils are probably the closest comparison to these, and ChromaFlow just recently came out with a line of 72, so I wanted to show you the comparison on black and on white for both the ChromaFlow and the Black Edition. So this is ChromaFlow up here, nice and opaque. And this is the Black Edition. Now obviously I have circles versus squares, and these aren't colored quite as large, but the ChromaFlows are quite opaque as well. A lot of the colors are similar, so if you had the 74 ChromaFlow, I don't think I'd recommend grabbing the Black Edition set unless you just want a spare set to throw in your travel bag, because I do think that these resist breakage pretty well. You could actually, if you're going to travel with them, probably keeping them either in a zip-up case or in the box they came in is probably going to protect them pretty well because they're not going to jostle around. But I would say opacity-wise, well, when I look at like that peach, that is much stronger than the Faber Castell. The ChromaFlow white looks like it's a little bit better. Let's compare our whites because that's a really good test. So here is Color Soft. Oh, that's nice and vibrant. So let's do CS, Color Soft. Let's do Prismacolor. I can always find my white because that one's always in the front and usually in a pencil extender. Now we'll do P for Prismacolor. Now that's the same opacity. I don't know if it shows up on camera or not. It's the same opacity of the Color Soft, but it feels like a little silkier, whereas Color Soft feels a little bit drier. It's a very small difference, but I'm just gonna mention these just differences. I have people from the UK that will be like, I want to get Prismacolors. I want to get Prismacolors. But I can't get Color Softs here. Is it worth paying extra for Prismacolors? And I'm like, no. Color Softs are actually a better pencil. They're just. Prismacolors are just very cheap for some reason. I don't know why they're so inexpensive, but they're probably because they've cut some corners. But Color Soft is a better build. It's a better pencil. This is ChromaFlow, which is another Derwent. Now ChromaFlow is not as opaque as the Color Soft, also by Derwent, or the Prismacolor. So I'm just going to put CF for ChromaFlow. And then we're going to do the Black Edition again because I just want to double check. If your pencils don't feel quite right, like they feel kind of Black Edition. Boy, those are the ChromaFlow and Black Edition are very similar. Let me just do a little gradient. And let me just do heavy to light here. And then we'll do the ChromaFlow next to it because I think these feel harder than the ChromaFlow, but I think the color payout is pretty similar. But if you have some arthritis, I think I would go with the ChromaFlow. Well, gosh, they feel. No, they feel pretty identical, to be honest, actually. The leads in these two pencils are very similar. So I'd say if you already have the Derwent Chrome Flow, I would skip these, but you know, if not, you might consider like comparing prices. Like I said, I don't think these were meant for the American market because like I never hear anyone talking about them. And they're quite nice, so maybe they're just made for the European market, I'm not sure. But color-wise, I think certain colors are definitely better in the Chroma Flow. Like especially the really pale shades, they seem to lack the color payout on with the Black Edition, where they're a little bit stronger with the Chroma Flow. Go look at those teals. But they're very similar, guys, very similar. Now let's look at the white swatches. And now I know it's not, I didn't swatch them the same way, so it's not exactly identical. They seem pretty comparable. The swatches on white seem pretty comparable. There's certain colors that will seem stronger, like that teal seems stronger in Black Edition, but you know, the peach seems better in the Chroma Flow. But what I'm going to say about these is that I would say they're not terribly expensive. 20 bucks for 36 pencils, or I think it was like 25 for 50. So I think I would just get the 50 set. I think they're great for highlights on top of watercolor or on top of alcohol markers. I'll probably use these throw them in my bag for Inktober. So when I'm sitting on the couch or on the deck and I just want to add some highlights, I'll probably try those this year because they seem to like they're going to work out pretty well. Or definitely for your kids. I think it would be an excellent product for children. It's not expensive enough that it's not so expensive that you're going to worry about it, but you can give them a high quality feeling pencil that's not going to roll off, that's firm enough that it's not going to snap a lead. It's a triangular barrel. I have no idea if that's more or less comfortable to hold if you have arthritis, but just put it out there. It feels thicker. I'm trying to think. Does it feel thicker than that? No, it doesn't feel thicker than that. What about thicker than a Prismacolor? Just the way it feels. Feels about the same, but it almost feels like it has a little bit more oomph to it than a Prismacolor as far as like just holding it. I don't know. It's such a hard thing to compare, like a barrel of a triangular versus a round. But I would say the downside is there's no open stock availability when there is open stock availability with all the other pencils that I compared these to. And that means like, can you buy one pencil if you want to? So like Derwent Chroma Flow, Derwent Color Soft, and Prismacolor, you can buy single pencils, and you can't with the Black Edition currently. There's no color number or color name on these, so if you are somebody who wants to swatch it out and write a color name or number, you're going to have to like, I don't know, put a piece of tape on them with a number on it and just make your own chart if you want to do that. It doesn't matter to me. It's pretty easy to look at the leads and identify them, but if that's important to you, then you know, there you have that. Let's see how these react to water before we go. I've got a little water brush here because that's something that people are really interested in. So let me move my Chroma Flow swatches out and let's just see. Ooh, I'm not getting any. And I'm going to put out a bead just so you can see me put out a bead of water. Nope, no movement whatsoever. Let's try odorless mineral spirits really quick. See if and I mean it's going to. It'll blend it, but you know, just for fun, let's do this one right here. And that will also break up the wax and get rid of the wax bloom. Let me just, I want to show you that does it move it? It moves it, but not a ton. It'll break down the wax. But actually, it doesn't break down as well as I thought it would. I had quite a bit on that, and it's not really, it's not breaking it down that much. It is a little, like I can smear it off to the edge. See, I can get it to move. So it is breaking it down. I'm just doing that to show you. You wouldn't want to do that, but I'm just doing that to show you. So, but it does not blend. It doesn't smear out as much as other ones. So that might be a plus. That might be a minus, depending if you like to do mixed media with certain things. Maybe you like to do alcohol over your colored pencils and you don't want it to move. That might help. We can try a blender really quick, a clear blending marker. I got one right here. Let's do that. Let's do that on this one right here. Let's see if that breaks anything down. Yeah, it moves it, so yeah, you can use it with your blending marker. Oh, and if you do the blending marker, it takes the shine away too. So that might be something if you're having some glare issues to try that. Sometimes I have better luck with the chisel end. Yep, that'll take your shine away. So that's a nice little tip with these. Oh, look at that nice blend I got there. That would be handy for stampers because you probably have one of these blending pens. But no movement with water, so that'll be really handy for mixed media artists that want to be able to like spray their work fixative and not have it bleed. And then you scribble this on a scrap of paper to clean the tip, and then you can use it for the next color. It's not, you know, it'll stain. Like the tip of this is pretty well stained, but it won't harm the marker at all. But no bleeding with water. So hopefully this is helpful. I know it's just a short little video, but you know, it's a fairly inexpensive set of pencils. I just wanted to kind of give you the heads up in case you were seeing them too, and the want monster was raging for them. The packaging is nothing to write home about, but it is an eco-friendly product. It's a carbon neutral product, so they say. And yeah, I guess you wouldn't put a lot into packaging if you want to be an eco-friendly product. You just want to get the products there where they can, you know, safely so they can be used. One other thing I wanted to mention, when I was using the colors for that and I was coloring quite a bit, I had to sharpen quite a bit. So you're probably going to wear down the pencils a little bit faster than some of the other ones out there. So with all of that information, hopefully that helps you make an informed decision for what pencils you want to add to your stash. And I'll put the links to everything down below, so you can check it out if you want to. Please give me a thumbs up before you go if you like review videos. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!